Good morning, everyone. It's really fitting that we consider a suffrage memorial today because yesterday marked the 100th anniversary of this chamber's passage of the 19th Amendment, which granted women the right to vote. And this August is the 99th anniversary of the ratification of that constitutional amendment.
And they have never looked back. Today, women vote in higher numbers than men and have done so in every election since 1964. I'm honored to be joined at this hearing in support of this bill by Jane DeDecker, a Colorado resident and constituent of mine in Loveland, nationally renowned sculptor and the artist behind this statue. Jane has been sculpting the human figure for over 35 years. In her work, she seeks to capture moments that reveal truths about the human condition. She has placed over 175 life and monumental-sized public sculptures in over 33 states. Jane's beautifully crafted design in every word we utter brings to life the women behind the suffrage movement from its beginning to its final victory. I also feel very privileged to be joined by another constituent, Jody Shattuck McNally, who is the president of the Every Word We Utter board, and as I mentioned, a constituent of mine as well. Together, they both, along with the rest of the board, have advocated tirelessly for the placement of this statue and for national recognition of the movement for women's suffrage. Their dedication has led to several successes, of course, including the bill that is before this committee. H.R. 473, I would note, has received strong bipartisan support. It has the support of the entire congressional delegation of Colorado, every Republican and every Democrat. And it will be bicameral with the bipartisan Senate companion that was introduced just yesterday. Leading women organizations are in support of this legislation, including the 6 chapters of the American Association of University Women, among them the chapters of the states of Colorado and Nevada, as well as the League of Women Voters of Colorado. At the end of my remarks, will ask for unanimous consent to also enter into the record a letter of support for this statute from the American Association of the University of Women of Colorado. The Women's Suffrage Centennial Commission is also supportive of this statute, and I am honored to have with us today the Commission's National Events Director, Anna Lehman, who is here today and will testify, I believe, as part of the third panel on the significance of the legislation and the statute. Under the Commemorative Works Act, this sculpture can be donated to the National Park Service with our congressional authorization. This bill simply authorizes that private donation, stipulates that this statue will not cost anything to the federal government, and while the bill suggests a preferred location, it leaves the ultimate decision to the National Capital Memorial Advisory Committee, which I think is appropriate. The women included in this sculpture, just by way of background, hail from every corner of this country, diverse set of backgrounds and circumstances. The statue depicts Susan B. Anthony, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, her daughter, Harriet Stanton Blatch, Sojourner Truth, Alice Paul, and Ida B. Wells, all renowned women's rights activists and foundational members of this multi-generational movement. Each of these women's efforts across the decades was irreplaceable to the ultimate enfranchisement of women throughout our nation. And that includes, as I mentioned, Sojourner Truth, who as a former slave became an outspoken advocate for civil and women's rights in the 19th century. My daughter, as some members know, my wife and I welcomed our first child last year, Natalie, and she's just 8 months old now. And as a proud father, I want to ensure that her and every girl growing up alongside her feel represented, empowered, and are assured of the fundamental role that they play in our society. And establishing this statute, in my view, is certainly a critical way we can do just that, and we can inspire the next generation to continue advocating for justice and equality for one another and for all that will follow them. And so with that, I want to thank, again, the chairman, the chairwoman, and the ranking member for hearing this bill today, and I look forward to the conversation ahead. Thank you, and I yield back the balance.
I hope that the monument just inspires young women. Little girls.